Termites, it's night 12. How exciting is that? Let's get our last paper doll. That's sad times. And then one of you guys told me on the YouTube comments that there's little stands in the back for those. And sure enough, I'll be damned. There's a little page full of little stands, but I didn't know till right now. It's almost the end, but I'm keeping some of these just because they make me laugh. What about at Thanksgiving or something all around either my house or my brother's house? This one says, flaunting your baton with a stately flourish will secure a featured position in the Armed Forces Day Parade. Look at this shit. I mean, this is just beyond the pale. And I've not known a lot of over-the-top gay guys, and I don't really know that anybody can. His shoes have American flags on them that are sequined and bedazzled. He has a baton. You got to give it to him. I mean, he was doing this in the 50s. He was not afraid to be gay, really gay, like super duper gay. That takes a lot of guts back then, especially. I'll put this one back here because even though it's super fabulous, I feel like it's going to fall over. We'll put him by the lamp. He gets his own spot right here. Are you admiring my blanket here? My niece Claire made that. Wasn't that nice? Who knew? I didn't even know she could do all that. I think it was a COVID project. Probably my sister probably made him do it. You're going to learn to do something. We're not sitting around this goddamn house. She doesn't sound that bad. I made her sound worse. So that's sadly the end of our paper dolls, but we still have our book left, and Liberace is heating up on the TV. What are we drinking? A light Pinot Noir from Storyteller, which is in Sonoma, which is one of my little favorite restaurants in the whole tiny world is tucked up there, called the Boonfly, or as I like to call it, the Shoe Fly. The Boonfly Cafe, one of the best Bloody Marys I've ever had, and they have an omelet there, which just made me hungry saying that, that's to die for. So if you're ever up around Carneros, up in Sonoma County, this is Into the Fog, Sonoma County, Storyteller, Pinot Noir, 2018. I do have my wand, but I still have a lot of light Pinots because the other ones gave me headaches, but now I have my wand. I can drink anything I want. Watch out. Okay. So his TV show's doing good, and he has a sponsor, Citizens National Bank. Is that still a bank? Do we know? I've never heard of it. The KCLA TV show brought a wave of popularity that neither the station, Liberace, nor Gabe, Lutz, or Heller had anticipated. The Hooper ratings were I don't know what that is, were the largest ever registered by an independent channel in LA. Women were reported to have paid up to $50 apiece for tickets to the show, which had no admission charge. Wow! They're already doing that back then. Good for them. When Liberace announced on air that he would appear in concert at the Pasadena Civic Auditorium, tickets were sold out within 48 hours. This is so great. Heller and Lutz saw the need for a publicist to control and contribute to the fast-rising public interest in Liberace. They chose Red Doff, a stubby, hyperactive young Army veteran with an old-time press agent's imaginative flair. You don't need to say stubby, right? It's cute, but would you like that? Doff's client included Al Jarvis, Frankie Lane, Margaret Whiting, Steve Allen, and others. One of Duff's stunts was putting Steve Allen, then a late-night TV personality on local radio, in the window of Music City. Oh, he put him in the window to see how many songs he could compose in 24 hours. Wow. That is when people still had patience. That is when that worked. People, I guess. You're going to Vladimir Horowitz's concert at the Philharmonic Sunday afternoon, Doff announced to Liberace. I'd love to hear Horowitz play, but Sunday is Mother's Day and I have plans with my mother, Liberace replied. Cancel them. This is more important. Following Liberace followed Doff's direction. I'm surprised because he was quite the loyal mama loyalist. He waited until just before the recital began. Then he and his mother walked down the aisle to the seats in the center of the orchestra section just before the lights dimmed. It's Liberace, a voice exclaimed. And the crowd rustled and then applauded. Reporters who'd been tipped off by Doff reported the upstaging of the virtuoso by the pop pianist. Mr. Horowitz was not pleased. Well, probably not, but can't you just be happy? Well, you should invite him on stage if he's that popular. And then at the end, do it at the end. In San Diego, to hype a forthcoming Liberace concert, Doff decided on a means to attract immediate attention. He reported that 100 Liberace record albums intended for critics and disc jockeys had been stolen from the trunk of his car as it was parked near the El Cortez Hotel. He alerted the newspapers of the theft, knowing they would check police records before printing the story. The news reports were picked up by AP and UP and sent across the country. Duff produced more space when he took Liberace to court and had his single name legalized. No more Ladzu Valentino. Liberace found he enjoyed the hoopla that Red Doff created. He listened very carefully to the publicist's hints on how to conduct an interview that would make lively and provocative articles. Whatever you say better be what you want to see in print. Tell the truth as long as you can live with it. Honesty is the best policy. If you don't lie, you don't have to remember the lies you told. That's what my dad would tell a witness. Stop lying, because you'll not remember your own lies. In the summer of 1952, Liberace was chosen as a summer replacement for Dinah Shore's 15-minute NBC show on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. A 15-minute show? Well, I might have agreed to that. That was always my problem with hosting. I don't want to host some late-night thing that lasts a whole hour. He performed a shortened version of the KLAC show with George, the Candelabra, and the Simple Set. The series lasted only 8 weeks, but the impact of Liberace's first national exposure was startling. Before the series, he had appeared at a Kansas City nightclub where he was lucky to fill the 150-seat room. After the summer telecast, he returned to play 2 sellout performances at the Kansas City Municipal Auditorium with a capacity of 14,000. Holy shit. Clearly, Liberace was destined to be more than a local television program. This was recognized by Reb Kaufman, a man whose bland face and glasses made him look like an accountant. Now, see, who was this author just saying people are stubby and bland? There's no reason to print that. You say he looked like an accountant, but who possessed the instincts of a riverboat gambler. Okay. He had leapt into television with his Guild films, supplying odds and ends to product-hungry local stations across the country. Kaufman sold Don Feddersen on the idea of syndicating the Liberace show, and a contract was signed between Guild Films, KLAC-TV, and Liberace on January 9, 1953. Oh, he's going into syndication! Wonderful. Now Reb Kaufman was faced with finding enough sponsors to finance the syndicated show. He began in Chicago, where he had been a whiz in the advertising trade, but the Liberace craze was considered merely one of those fads for Californians, for which Californians were famous, and who wanted to see a guy with wavy hair, smiling, playing the piano when television offered wrestling, Hopalong Cassidy, and other delights. His Chicago mission a failure, Reb Kaufman found himself stranded without funds. He used his air travel credit card to fly to Tucson, where his brother operated a prosperous haberdashery. After hearing Reb's plight, the brother says, "What can I do for you? You can introduce me to your banker, Reb, R-E-U-B, Rub replied. He showed the banker a simple program and painted a glowing picture of Citizens National Bank bonanza with Liberace. "I'm not sure banks should be on TV advertising," the banker said, "but I'm willing to take a chance. When can I start broadcasting the shows?" "As soon as I get the finance. You can help by giving me letters to 20 other banks in the Southwest." Kaufman sold 14 out of the 20, and when he returned to California with enough financing to start the series. Good for him. Look at the hustle there. The first season of Liberace, which had been shot with video cameras and was telecast live. The show would continue to be live in L.A., then it would be filmed so it could be shipped to other parts of the country. Jim Hobson would continue to direct the show. For the director of the film show, they chose Duke Goldstone. He was a veteran of the movie trade who had risen out of poverty row of cheapy filmmakers. Kaufman admired the no-nonsense professional style, which Goldstone directed dozens of 3-minute musical shorts and supplied a kind of visual jukebox in bars and cafes. The first film show of the new season provided to be a triumph for all concerned. Dripping with sweat and highly elated, Liberace praised Goldstone and suggested a celebration. Goldstone mentioned a favorite place, the Silver Dollar Bar on Doheny at Burton Way, a few blocks away. "Fine, I'll meet you there after I have a shower and sign some autographs." When the Liberace arrived at the Silver Dollar, he and inquired what Goldstone had been drinking. Goldstone had consumed 2 double Gibsons and was about to reorder. Then I'll have to catch up. I'll have 3 double Gibsons, bartender. Oh, my God. Good for him. Look at Wisconsin showing up. He might be in these outfits and he might be the gayest guy running around, but he is drinking like a lumberjack. Holy shit. 3 doubles. Later, Goldstone suggested dinner at his favorite restaurant, Lucy's on Melrose Avenue. After another round of Gibsons, oh my God, they ordered dinner, marinara salad and Chateaubriand. I actually remember when that was popular. A place I worked at called the Lodge of the Four Seasons. They're fancy. They had like 4 restaurants, but the fanciest one, Chateaubriand, was the hit of the menu. In the middle of the salad course, Liberace excused himself from the table. After a lengthy absence, he returned looking pale and ill. I better drive you home, Goldstone suggested. On the way to North Hollywood, Liberace stuck his head out of the window and lost his dinner. I would have puked too. I mean, he had more than 3 doubles. Oh. Goldstone parked his car before the house and assisted an alien star to the door. Liberace's mother greeted them with a stern face. Uh-oh. Goldstone made a quick exit. As he drove away, he saw Liberace rush out and throw up in the bushes. It's over, Goldstone concluded. The situation was classic. Evil director brings home drunken star to furious mother. Goldstone warily approached rehearsals in the next few days later, entering from the music hall from the front door. Liberace was on the stage, and he rushed down the stairs to meet Goldstone, apologizing profusely for his behavior. The relationship was smooth as ever. The incident caused a blind item in the entertainment column of the Los Angeles Daily. What local television star caused a disturbance in the men's room of Lucy's the other night? It was a 2-edged item, a forerunner of the innuendo about Liberace that would follow. Liberace had not spoken to his father in 13 years. Then one day in October 1953, the two met again. Lee never forgot his ties to Milwaukee. Whenever he played a concert in his hometown, he invited old chums to visit him backstage, particularly musicians who had started in the business with him. And then they name a bunch of people. Lee appointed Swedish, his Midwest musical contractor, with the duty of hiring a 48-piece orchestra for the concert. Having heard Liberace's record album, Swedish knew that the arrangements were heavy with French horns. Oh, no! Why not hire Sam Liberace? Finally, the dad's going to get a gig, but only because the kid got famous. Oh, my God. Swedish had long believed that Walter was in the wrong taking his mother's side in the divorce to such a degree that he cut off all contact with his father. Swedish telephoned Sam at his home in Middleton and told him of the job, but didn't mention the name of the star performer. Oh, my God. Look at this guy squirreling around like this. Swedish had planned to keep Walter in the dark, too. Oh, he wasn't going to tell either one of them. Then he began to lose his nerve. Yeah, I would. When Liberace arrived in town, he was entertained at a big reception by Fred Miller at the Miller Brewery, which I have toured. And it is so great. If you're ever in Milwaukee, do the Miller Brewery tour. It's just fabulous. And I love that at the end, I act like I've never tasted Miller Lite when you get free samples. Can I taste that again? Can't remember. As he watched Liberace greeting old friends and civic dignitaries, Swedish decided to divulge his plot. He invited Liberace into a corner. Walter, I've done something you may not approve of, but I think I've done the right thing. I've hired your father for the horn section. Tears began to well in Liberace's eyes as memories tumbled through his mind. Then his face hardened. Damn you! How could you do such a thing? You have no right to interfere in our family matters. God damn it, Walter, he's your father, Swedish shouted back. He's the man who fed you, taught you how to play piano, got you the right kind of training. You can't just treat him like he doesn't exist. He's an old man. He needs his son's love right now. Liberace wavered between anger and tears. All right, he can play in the orchestra, but I won't be at the rehearsal. Bring him to my hotel room afterward. Oh, my God. Sam Liberace arrived at the auditorium 10 minutes before rehearsal, a small man who had to hold his horn case off the floor when he walked. Swedish greeted his old friend and then broke the news. Sam, I didn't tell you who was appearing with the orchestra. It's Walter. Oh, my God. Sam was sobbing so much he could hardly play in rehearsal. Afterwards, Swedish invited him and 2 other musicians to visit Liberace at the Schroeder Hotel. Maybe just the dad. Do we need these 2 other guys for something this crazy? I'd say just the dad. The door to the suite was ajar, and Swedish looked in and saw Liberace, handsome in a red silk robe. Wonderful. As father and son studied each other, Swedish pushed the other two musicians out of the room and closed the door. Yeah, why did you bring him in the first place? 20 minutes later, Liberace and his father emerged. Emotionally spent, 13 years of bitterness ended. Well, look at this little guy, just matchmaking a whole family back together. At the Milwaukee concert, Mom occupied her customary position in the front row, and Liberace introduced her during the performance. At the reception afterwards, she remained by his side, and Sam Liberace contemplated whether to try for a reconciliation. Finally, he tapped her on the shoulder. She turned around and stared at him icily. I am a star now, she said. I don't need you anymore. Sam Liberace had the last word. A few months later, Mom decided she wanted to take Liberace back as her legal name instead of Casadante. She petitioned the LA Superior Court for change, explaining she wanted to avoid confusion. Her former husband exploded. Now the woman who had revealed him and estranged him from his own children wanted to take back his name. To hell with her, he exclaimed. Sam hired an attorney to fight her position and told the press he was objecting to her capitalizing on the name. Frances Casadante quietly abandoned her suit. Oh, she should have kept going. Liberace had the money. He could hire all the lawyers. We're on page 74, Termites. Liberace achieves national, this is chapter 5, national fame and discovers firsthand the travails pertaining Thereto. Thereto? I don't know. Liberace stood before the bathroom mirror for his daily exercise in the magic of believing. As always, he spoke to his reflection in a stern, prosecutorial manner, demanding answers and sometimes proud, often self-satisfied. Liberace, this is him talking to himself. Are you as good as a pianist as Horowitz? No, Liberace admitted, but I'm probably better than him in some respects. And your new television show, do you really think it's as good as I Love Lucy? Well, if I'm never too self-important to bring entertainment to anybody, I don't see why it couldn't be. Because of his salesmanship, Rub Kaufman, Liberace was beginning to reach everybody. In April 1953, only 35 stations had bought the films, but by September, the list had grown to 100. Soon it would be 180 stations, more than carried I Love Lucy. Wow. The success stories of Liberace's sponsorship helped increase Kaufman's sales. In Cleveland, the Society for Savings amassed $9,216,000 in new and old accounts over a 7-month period as a result of an offer for a Liberace phonograph record. In Corpus Christi, a Denver-based company canned crab meat on Liberace sold out a 2-year supply despite the fact that the fresh crab was available in Corpus Christi 10 months out of the year. Don Feddersen resisted urgings by ad agencies to spice up the show with a chorus line, guest stars, and the trappings of TV variety shows. Lee has a terrific nightclub act. It works in clubs and it works on television. Why change it? The formula remained the same. The intimate set, the lighting effects, the introduction of the mute George and of Mom, and the chatty talk directly to the viewers. During most of the show, the screen was filled by Liberace and his piano. I do not know how long this show went on, but I do remember my grandma watching it. So it had to have gone on for a while, or maybe it was just repeats, because I wasn't even alive till the mid-60s, so mid-70s. I don't know how, I was very little, but I do remember it. All right, this is probably a good place to stop, Termites, don't you think? Oh, he's so just adorable. All right, Termites. Know that you're good termites. You're worthy termites. And you're going to close your eyes. I'm going to wink at you anyway, though. We'll see if you feel it. I'm going to wink at you. What are we going to say? Night-night, termites.